Celtics in action. That's Marcus Smart. How do you think GameTime logo would look in my hair? Not good?
I think that's a good teammate.
I have enough.
If you do that.
Kyrie, after missing 2 with the left eye, returns. And the Nets get at it. But so does Kyrie. Easy. Nice find from Smart. Lead 5. Off the turnover, some work from Jason Tatum going the other way. Zeke, how about Tatum here after all that he did last year and trying to follow that up?
I think he's having a good second year. However, the expectations of being better than you were the first year, that's always going to be tough for that second-year player because, his name is on the board. But I like the way he's handled it and the way he's come out, and he's having a good second year.
Scary Terry, the lay-in, lead 11. Nets get back in it. They always seem to do that. Kenny Atkinson's club plays hard. Shabazz Napier, the 3. How about Jared Allen? Speaking of hair. Napier at 10 points, 5 boards, 6 assists, and then some work, Candace, from Kyrie here.
Well, Kyrie, obviously, finishing ability. Oof. He has multiple ways he can finish around the basket and not giving up a lot of size at that.
Nice look. Daniel Tice there for the dunk. Kyrie 17, 6, and 3 steals. And then Scary Terry, open. He had 10. I love this kid in college. Robert Williams, you want to talk about athleticism and throwing it down at Texas A&M.
Oh, yeah.
This dude can get up.
Not only can he get up, but his shot blocking ability is untimely. He has great timing. Most people, they can block, with one hand. He get it left hand and right hand.
All right, Celtics get a win, 116-95. The final.
And Clemson just scored again?
Yes, but we're not watching.
Yeah.
Detroit basketball. Dwayne Casey and DeMar DeRozan reunited. Spurs get Blake and the Pistons. He'll want to watch this in the iPad. 3, and a timeout from Pop. Some work to be done. And then the tag team partner inside. How about Drummond continuing to grow as a player and get better?
Well, I think Blake has helped that development. It's allowed Drummond to push Drummond to stay, obviously near the basket. Blake makes him better by assisting him. He moves without the ball well. He's really improved this year.
I also think the little back and forth between him and Embiid has also, made him up his game a little bit too.
DeMar DeRozan upping his game. By the way, not good to have a 20-2 run if you're the other team. That's what happened here. DeRozan had 11, lead 12. They outscored the Pistons 34-20 in the second quarter. Patty Mills lead 8 at the break. Then more. Blake Griffin, Zeke, showing the crossover.
Yeah, the thing that we didn't know about Blake when he came into the league, he didn't have these kind of handles, and you always wondered, what was his work ethic like. But now Blake really has everything. So every year he's added something new to his game to make him better.
DeRozan inside the lane. Goody had 26, 7 boards, 9 assists, lead 12. L.A., LaMarcus Aldridge closing it out. Little Tim Duncan bank shot. Hezzy. And a lay-in. He had 25. Greg Popovich ties Jerry Sloan, 3rd most wins in NBA history. Yet another.
All he does is win, 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 win.
And DJ Khaled is looking for his royalties. Meanwhile, saving us, here's DeMar DeRozan.
What was it like to go against your old coach? Was it a little weird?
Yeah, it's definitely weird. Playing with him for the majority of my career to go out here competing against him. It's always fun, but it was definitely weird.
That's the question I had for him. Your mindset going into the month of January had to be different. You got your former team and your former coach all in a matter of, about a week here?
Oh, yeah. It's exciting. You got to get up for moments like that to be able to compete, see guys on the other side, and, go out there and kind of be on the opposite sides and kind of talking trash and try to get some brownie points on your end.
Talk about some of the no calls that you're getting right now, because it seems to me that you've had that pull through, the little Euro step, and you've been getting raked across your arms a few times. Has Pop said anything to you about those situations to keep playing through them?
Just keep going. Just keep going. It's going to turn when need be. Just still be aggressive. Don't let that deter me away from my aggressiveness. And, it'll definitely come.
Are you actively, at the beginning of games, it seems to me like you're trying to get the other guys involved first, and then you're starting to look for your shot secondly?
Oh, yeah, I always know when I can get my shot off, when I can kind of pick up my aggressiveness. But it's all about getting them other guys going, having them have a rhythm, because they open up and make my game a lot easier.
Well, DeMar, this is the 5th game in a row the team has won, the longest winning streak of the year. Nice to get it on the road, just the 7th road win. You guys have been closing the gap recently. You had a big one out at L.A. What's been the difference with the team's better play away from home?
We're more conscious of it. Understanding it's just us when we go on the road. We got to generate our own energy, and that's what we've been doing, trying to come out, be aggressive, not really get caught up into the crowd or the referees or whatever they got going on. Make it all about us, understanding what we need to do when we're out there on the court.
Also seemed to be a big emphasis in the rebounding game tonight, because that has been a problem in the last couple of losses on the road.
For sure. Especially coming out battling against, Drummond and Griffin tonight, you definitely got to be conscious of trying to get them rebounds. And we always at our best when we're able to rebound and get out and transition and play.
What can you say? I mean, forget about just from a basketball standpoint, one of the greatest coaches in the 4 major sports of all time, and Greg Popovich, who continues to go up the list. And we sit here, Zeke, and it's like every year, I always say this when Smitty is sitting here, because he played for every year, is this the best job that he's done? They got off to, with all the injuries, a great start. And to me, we said that, but now I'm more impressed, because they look like they were going totally the other way. Outmatched, overmatched. Their leading scorer was Jakob Poeltl. Nothing wrong with that Poeltl family, but not a Spurs team we know of. And then they somehow found a way to get back off the mat yet again and be right back in the mix.
I said this earlier about he and Doc Rivers this year. I think they're having the most fun coaching this year than they've had in the previous years, because in previous years they had guys that knew the system, understood how to play, what to do, so forth and so on. Now this year they really get a chance to coach again, right? They get a chance to teach, they get a chance to direct, they get a chance to take a young player and grow him. And that's really exciting for the coaches. And I marvel at Pop's stamina over the years, that he's been able to night in and night out show up without, game soreness, without taking the night off.
General soreness.
And just showing up every night for his team.
Yes, there's the general that Shaq knows, and then there's General Soreness, which is in Philadelphia. We've got more coming up. Speaking of issues, how about Minnesota?
Man up.
Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil, where are you at? This show should be on
about the Spurs and what's made them so effective in this stretch as we take a look at their first 25 games as opposed to their last 15.
Well, for me, the biggest thing is the defensive rating is they've played so well. I'm always amazed when Pops can get a bunch of slow guys, Mike, to play deep. When your bigs are slow, it's hard to have really schemes that work, because they're always got to be in sag in positions where they're covering small amounts of the floor. But Pops finds a way to get those guys to play good defense. Every time I watch them play and they play good defense, I'm like, how does he get these guys to do that? But their defense has impressed me. And then they're shooting 5 percentage points better offensively. And in a game where you shoot 100 shots a game, you're making 5 more. I mean, they are taking better shots and taking and making better shots as a team. And he figured out the defensive blend and the offensive blend. Pop's doing a tremendous job. Give him credit.
It's been a juggling act for him the entire season, because he had to decide, how do we want to play offensively now? We lose Danny Green, you lose Kawhi, you lose Slow-Mo, and you've lost some key pieces, to their offense and to their defense, the experience part. He brings in some new guys. Wait a minute, I've got to figure out, how do I best use DeMar DeRozan? And DeRozan has to figure out what's a San Antonio style of play. Pau Gasol has played 10 games so far this season. Rudy Gay has played 35. He's had some key injuries to guys, so he's been juggling and mixing and matching and trying to find the guy that can be a shot maker on a given night. It used to be Patty Mills that would come off the bench, and I'd look at the box score right away. I'd look to see what Patty Mills did. If he played well, they would win the game usually. Now they've got another guy, who makes some shots coming off the bench, who Forbes was a knockdown shooter all of a sudden, taking Patty's spot on certain nights.
Yeah, Bertans makes shots from the three-point line, doesn't come inside that too much. And the thing I like about him, we talked about this, Mike, earlier a little bit, is, he tells his good shooters to go ahead and shoot a lot of threes. He tells the other guys, hey, look, Pop said, we're going to ease up a little bit on just firing threes up there. Drive and kick, get in the paint and pass it out. You can take threes late in the clock, but don't take them early. Let's not settle. Let's just keep attacking. And I think every time the ball gets in the paint, it puts so much pressure on the defense, Mike, that you get fouls driving the paint, but those kick-out shots, when you get in the paint and you throw it out, everybody shoots those better. There's more rhythm on that shot.
What I love about Pop is he goes against the grain a lot of times from the standpoint that he doesn't just do what the hot thing to do in the league is. You remember the year back before he won the series against Miami, they shot a lot of threes and won games by shooting threes. Yeah. Then they got to the Miami series that year, moved the ball better than we've ever seen in a long, long time, and that became the new thing. Let's pass the ball quickly. And then he goes back to this kind of team, which is pieces and parts, and he puts it together and plays to what the players' strengths are, what they can do, and this is how we're going to play. We're not going to play the way the league wants us to play.
That's one of the things that he told us as we had the Spurs on TNT on Thursday night. Our broadcast team had a meeting with him prior to the game and asked how it is that he's been able to maintain the Spurs system when the league has gone in such a different playing style direction. And he told us exactly that he's not going to go in that direction simply because the league has, but because he's going to find the strengths of the personnel that he has. He doesn't have the Golden State Warriors roster, so he's not going to make the San Antonio Spurs play the way that they play.
Well, when you have the ability to take your ego and sit down with your best player and say to him, what am I doing wrong? What can I do different? And it turns the entire thing around with LaMarcus Aldridge, where you had a guy who wanted out, wanted to leave, and now winds up getting back to playing like it was the Aldridge from Portland, because the coach is willing to sit down and say, what am I doing wrong, and how can I make or use you better?
Yeah, and he didn't say I'm going to take DeMar DeRozan and turn him into a three-point shooter coming up. He lets him ISO, but he ISOs off of action. He'll have a pin-down action to a curl, open up the side, and let DeRozan go to work. So he allows his guys to be who they are inside of his system, because he just doesn't come down, throw you the ball, and all four guys stand on the other side. They have movement inside of their offense. So when DeRozan is ISOing, it's really often he's coming from the weak side corner with a double pin down action to the top, opening it up for his left or right hand drive. And so they use actions to get him into his ISO. And I think he's done great. And that's one of those weird deals. It doesn't happen in our league a lot. It's happened a few times lately where both teams really benefit from the trade. Like, I just think Kawhi had to get out of San Antonio. That just wasn't going to work. He goes to Toronto. They're leading the Eastern Conference and playing great basketball. And DeRozan is helping the Spurs kind of turn their whole season around and become a whole different team that plays a little differently than Pop's teams normally do, but still very effective.
Well, we're going to be back with more on an 8-game Monday night in the NBA, including Blake Griffin. You just mentioned Bertans. Well, unfortunately here, this is a low light, not a highlight, as he gets bumped a reverse dunk.
We didn't say anything about his defense, though. We said he shoots the ball.
Fair.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a fair point by you. Well, the NBA on TNT is Thursday night with a doubleheader, starting with the Celtics in Miami to take on the Heat at 7 Eastern, followed by the Thunder in San Antonio to take on the Spurs at 9:30. Your coverage starts with Game Time at 6 right here on NBA TV. Look at this. Look how happy DeMar is to see Coach Casey prior to this game.
Yeah. Good to see that. Dwayne's a really good man. Like